even a tricky one where they went for the Gragas early, you know, which they could have done. Might have been banned, and we might have seen a completely different game. But Gen.G clearly prepared this strategy to counter the Sion pick. We'll see if it ends up coming through once again. The Thresh is banned, so we're not going to see the same draft by any means, but the same ideas do apply for Gen.G's composition. A little bit tougher, perhaps, to play the Jinx, though.
Hecarim's left up. Damwon Kia can grab that one away for themselves if they want to, and they will obviously collect the horse. This is already looking like a very different game. And I don't want to call it now, but Hecarim got through and Canyon's now playing it.
Yeah.
So is this 3 games?
Feels like it might be. It's a little bit suspicious that they ban the Graves here and leave the Hecarim up, because obviously Canyon's most famous champion for, you know, obviously when he picked up his Worlds title and throughout the entirety of the end of last year was the Graves, but the Hecarim is much stronger right now. I think everyone would agree with that. So
yeah,
this could be a moment where Gen.G has something else up their sleeve where they're like, Sion would be nice. Why don't you pick that one? We'll see what we get later on. And this time it feels like they're kind of baiting this Hecarim pick. They pick the Udyr into it, which can be a very difficult matchup in terms of those later team fights, because Hecarim is going to offer a lot more lockdown in the team fights themselves. And an early Tristana pick here for Damwon Kia, kind of a response to the Kai'Sa early on, which is pretty common.
Yep. Rel actually went the entire way through the draft in our last game, but has now finally poked her head out, of course. The synergy between Tristana and Rel is just ridiculous, but we'll see where the barrel is going to be hit with the fact that, you know, you're not quite as tanky when you're not riding your armor.
Interesting to prioritize the Syndra over the Alistar here into the Rel. I feel like the Alistar is a way safer option. You know, it's one of the best counters to Rel in lane.
And the Tristana Rel especially.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, are you really worried about BDD losing his Syndra again here? Feels like a very odd choice from Damwon Kia that I think they might come to regret. Or rather from Gen.G that they might come to regret.
Well, I actually think that, you know, there's already a few things that have happened that have been a little bit regrettable for Gen.G in this draft, as Gragas is going to be banned away. Certainly a decent option into the Rel, and not going to be seen just right here. This could be a return to Life's very famous set on the bottom side of the map. Still an option to be flexed, of course. We've actually seen sets picked into Sion quite a lot, just because, you know, you feel like Showstopper is going to do way more damage if you're against a big, healthy boy.
Sure.
But I assume this is going to be that Kai'Sa set lane that can also, you know, do-si-do in the first few levels.
Yeah. Going to be a lot of extra late game scaling coming through with this Victor pick, and Con Sion's left open, so
yeah,
there you go. Answering everyone's question, will he play it again? Yeah, has one more blemish on his record after last game, but surprise, surprise, does come through. The Cho'Gath response once more, not a shocker.
Nope.
And so this game will actually functionally operate very similarly to the last one for Gen.G and how their comp fights front to back. For Damwon Kia, they have a lot more safe, sustained damage, though, that they did not have last game. They have Hecarim, who can also be a great engage tool and disengage against what Gen.G offer. And their ability to fight those really, really tight skirmishes around this Cho'Gath, it becomes so much easier with the Victor versus what we saw previously. So
yeah,
I like this draft a lot more for Damwon Kia than the previous one.
This is another one of those, you know, Zoe question mark games as well, right? Like game number 1, it was like, can Zoe land the bubbles? Can Zoe get things going? Victor just does things.
He just does. You don't have to ask the question.
No. He will put down a Chaos Storm. He will do a lot of damage, and he will be able to do it very consistently with his low cooldowns and high damage abilities. So definitely a much more reliable pick in the mid lane for the composition that they're going for. And now the shoe's on the other foot, right? Tristana, once she draws her bead far enough, it is going to be definitely a very different story to game 1, because the range advantage will be on the side of this Damwon Kia roster, and the amount of engage potential they have is absurd.
There were a few blemishes, too, for Damwon Kia in that last game, like Khan's unfortunate missing of the last range minion to hit 6, ending up giving Rascal first blood. That's unlikely to happen this game. Crazy shockwave combo, you know, into the knock-up there for Rascal and BDD. Another thing that's not going to happen this game, so Damwon Kia probably not going to be playing this mid-game with one hand tied behind their back either. So much more exciting game, I think, on our hands here.
Yeah, exciting. Or this, I feel like, might be the revenge of Damwon Kia. You know, they felt their record potentially being snapped away from them and will instead try to punish this one back. But still needs to happen. And, you know, there's certainly some power here on Gen.G's side. They once again get the Cho'Gath, which is so good, into the Scion, as we've already seen. Ruler has taken Exhaust. We have Exhaust Ignite bottom lane. This is actually insane. Like, I mean, I mentioned the fact that they can do level 1 and 2 and 3. They can certainly do it a little bit more effectively now, as Ghost has Cleanse, so let's see whether these are going to be some staggered abilities, which I think might be necessary.
Yeah, the Exhaust has been pretty popular, actually, in the LEC on the AD carry to stop, you know, Hecarim from getting in there and getting that extra value. It's also pretty good against, you know, the Scion. And, you know, Rel, you're going to have a lot more safety in that in lane, but later on, you know, there are some trade-offs. The heal that you would otherwise want to have, or the cleanse that you would otherwise want to have, you know, definitely more common, and this is pretty rare in Korea to see, but it also gives you a lot of power in moments like this.
Oh, there's another crash down, as Ghost is going to put an explosive charge onto Life. With Grit stacking up, he should be all right. And they do just sweep out the vision already.
Yeah.
Some aggression here on the bottom side.
They didn't commit anything in these summoner spells, and, you know, this is just going to be like a potion trade, but losing control of that vision is kind of annoying. Here we go, though.
There's another level 1 flash to come out from a set. I feel like we see it every time. I've got iRove flashbacks in the back of my mind. But Life is doing it this time, and of course we have to trust him. He's one of the best set supports in the league. His stats are pretty dumb prior to this season. This is where things have fallen down just a little bit, 2 and 3, as you can see right there. But before this, I believe he was undefeated.
Yeah.
On the set support.
He is doing very well. You could see win rate right there, 75.
And so all 3 of those losses, in fact, this year's games. So a little bit unfortunate there.
Sadly, but we know he's well-versed on it. He's got a very big history of playing the champion successfully in the bottom lane. Flashes like that, too. You know, you trade a flash, but you have Hex Flash, so you still actually have the ability to engage yourself in the upcoming trades, so that's part of why this happens.
He uses it so well as well.
Yeah.
I think Rel can be, you know, a very similar thing. Uses Hex Flash very well. Alistair, another one of those options, but I think Set is one of the best. You know, sit in a brush and then you can get those Flash face breakers to work out for you.
It's really cool, too, to take the Flash away from the Tristana early, because she can sometimes needs to use Flash to secure a kill to get her reset on her jump. So a lot of kill pressure taken away.
Able to walk out. There's the rocket jump forward. Ruler knew that there must be a horse coming. As Canyon going to be able to get a bit of a red buff there, as the exhaust is actually down.
It's coming.
Taking a bit of damage, and Cleared was there for a moment, but Hobbs is just going to turn away. Look to lock down a Rift Scuttler.
Well, that's really unfortunate here for Gen.G on the bottom side, because the advantages they had in the lane were kind of neutralized by this play. They will be able to steal away the Rift Scuttler, so that's one small little edge there for Clid, who's actually going to look for this pick on Showmaker. Showmaker not aware of what's going on the map right now.
Yeah, it's going to get stunned. Also going to flash there, as does make it out, but we'll have to teleport back to this lane.
That's rough for Showmaker. I mean, the wave was pushed pretty far up, so that's why he was there, because he needed to be hitting those minions. But you know Clid is there, and he just showed himself, so.
Ooh, Canyon. I thought he might be able to get it there, but not quite able to do so, as now Canyon looking for a potential gank, and see whether BDD is going to have to flash out of the way of this one. Does get pushed in probably the wrong direction, eventually does have to flash as Clid moves on over, but still not going to be able to fight without any mana on BDD.
The problem with this is now, you know, you have given both scuttles up. Action.
Another flash on forward, as there's the rocket jump. They're trying to get onto Ruler, and they will do so as we trade immediately. Another rocket jump comes out, and that's a double for the Tristana. Well, not a double, but it's 2 kills for the bottom lane, and feels great for Damwon Kia.
Yeah, and Ghost, there's no one near to pressure him. You know, unfortunately, BDD is not going to be able to make anything happen here. He checks vision here, but there's just no way you can punish as he gets this wave pushed in. He's able to get the extra gold there from those minions, and this is an exchange where the power is always going to be on the Tristana duo in these exchanges, especially if it goes the way it does, where you actually trade like that, because she's just going to be totally fine. Like, look at the burst here, and then Set is like, oh my god, I'm not a champion anymore. I did my combo, and now I just have to walk away.
It was so clever from Beryl, though, to close the gap, get face breaked on the other side to allow the crash down and the CC to go off on the Kai'Sa, giving Ghost time to get in position to land his rocket jump as well. Just like really clever and also obviously very well communicated between the two as well. So certainly something that we would expect from our best team here in Korea, but really good to see that level of play coming out. As Clid lying in wait here, thinking about an opportunity onto Showmaker, who will get stunned by just the tip.
Yep. This time Showmaker is aware that he doesn't know where Clid is and does respect that because he doesn't have flash, so he's even more so in that particular case.
Yep, another rocket jump here towards the bottom side of the map is now Life could be in trouble. No flash available as Gen.G's going to move on in. Clid down here and just flashing the wall, looking to try and punish Canyon. They do so, double control wards into this brush as well. As 3 versus 2, it looks like Gen.G is still, sorry, DK is still looking for this. But not going to be able to find a follow-up kill. So the horse put into the stable for a little while longer than he wanted to.
And this is really nice from Gen.G to respond to these rotations so quickly. And that is what, sometimes when you're Hecarim and there's no Udyr on the other side, or there's even like a Lily on the other side, you still feel pretty comfortable that you're going to be able to make these picks happen so quickly before the response is there. But Clid is always hovering around the side of the map where he knows that Canyon will be. And he's Udyr, so he's able to get there so fast and respond.
Yeah.
And that flash bear stun was super well executed. And he didn't have to use his flash, didn't decide to waste it in mid trying to get a pick. He's very conservative with it, so has it for this extremely critical moment. And Hecarim can't follow flash because he doesn't take flash. So, or, you know, he can't match the flash to escape, I guess is a better way to say it. But yeah, that ends up being a really nice play from Clid. And Gen.G even things up.
Yeah, really nicely done. I do need to apologize for to Quickshot for not saying flash bear slap, as he would have absolutely loved to in that moment. So if you're watching, Trevor, I apologize profusely for my complete lack of the right terminology. But that's okay. I've got time to make it up to you. As
everybody
loves to clear out this lane.
Everybody loves a good old flash bear slap, and we're going to see it here once again. So Clid is just responding so well to this. Gen.G are very aware that even though they have vision of Canyon, that he will be here at this time. And this is such a great haymaker. And Clid is 100% ready to flash slap.
Yeah.
And can't win this one anymore if you're Damwon Kia. Everybody's extremely low. But that's just as simple as it gets. Is just a macro rotation here from Clid. Really good game sense.
No, absolutely. Also, the fact that Ruler lands absolutely everything he needs to. That Void Seeker was actually pivotal in making sure that they got exactly the right damage onto Canyon. BDD just looking to show a bit of a push, slow a bit of a push here, as Barrel's going to rotate over. Clid gets all of the knowledge of him, as that ward doesn't really see too much, as we've got 4 members of Gen.G now in the area. You've got Ghost rotating up.
No shockwave this time, Damwon Kia.
This will be a 5v5 eventually, but Ruler does need to get into position, and Beryl has said, well, he's not here yet. Let's go for some sort of fight, as there's the chain CC onto Life. Beryl not going to get haymade this time. Canyon just going to grab himself the Eye of the Herald, and it looks like
we're going
back in. We're looking for more, as Khan throws himself forward. The Onslaught of Shadows is still there, but the Unstoppable Onslaught unable to get anything done at all, and that's just Khan kind of throwing his life away there, unfortunately.
That was a really nice idea, you know, and I think Canyon setting it up with the Ghost there made him feel like, okay, we are going to be able to turn this, because their comp is really good at fighting at this stage, and even last game, it was a very strong situation for them to take that fight around the Rift Herald and try to guarantee it, secure it, but they ended up getting hit by that Wombo combo with the Shockwave and the Rupture.
Yeah.
This time, they felt confident they could turn that around. Even, you know, with Rascal here on the field, has such a great burst. But unfortunately, the execution was a little bit off. Canyon couldn't get into position to use his ultimate. And Khan, once he trained in, there was no, there weren't a few trains for a few more minutes. He was, and it was around last train time. The next one was coming in about 10 minutes, so.
Yeah, this is the last train of the night, and you have to wait until 5 AM for the next one.
Yeah.
A little bit unfortunate there.
We'll watch it again, so. You know, the idea here, after like they use the crash down and this knock up here onto Life to secure the Drake, or rather to secure the Herald. And then, you know, Gen.G's comp, they're trading really well in this fight. Chaos Storm comes out though, and then Canyon presses Ghost, he's like, I'm ready. Really nice flash from Life, and then at this point, the damage is too good to actually, you know, get away here for Khan. He ends up getting face broken.
Yeah, and the Rupture's there as well. They've got so much chain CC. And you could feel the time where Canyon's like, yes, let's do it. But as soon as that Unstoppable Onslaught hits no one, then the follow-up is not going to be good enough. And with the fact that Gen.G was split, I think it makes sense that Canyon doesn't go in and they just sacrifice their Scion and just try and take what they can get, as somehow Khan got missed by that
yeah,
structure.
that was actually crazy.
The first time that Sion's model has ever been smaller than it looks.
Yeah.
In the history of League of Legends, as
he's been going for so much Frostborn Gauntlet too. He's getting real fat.
Yeah, true. True.
You know, the that fight too, when you think about it, there was almost no reason to continue to push that. I mean, they saw blood in the water. They could have gone.
Yeah, you've already got the Herald, right? You
yeah.
may as well, cut your losses.
It's just so greedy, and Damwon Kia feels like uncharacteristically today they are really pushing the issue. And you could say against some of the weaker teams they do play like this, but they usually don't play like this against top 4 teams when they are in these key matches. And again, this is about their win streak more than anything else for Damwon Kia, and I think they really do care a lot about that.
Oh, absolutely. Want to be able to get it is now B2D down to about half, misses the
That
scatter
was not it.
completely. Now cleared, might be in a little bit of trouble, but he runs real quick, so of course he's going to be all right. As now goes, rocket jumping forward. Rapid fire helping him out there as the explosive charge will go off. Ruler down to about half, but has himself a refillable, so he'll be all right.
This is looking really good for Gen.G though across the board after that last exchange. They will lose these plates.
Yep. Shelly's going to get slapped, but of course not going to worry too much about it as Canyon stands on a control ward. Doesn't feel strong enough to try and take that one down as, okay, track repel going to stop Life from following up at all. Great sidestep on the Haymaker. As I think we're going to have a plate after that charge goes off. Yep.
There you go.
Easy peasy.
I think what the Drake, the Soul is here is going to affect this game pretty significantly. And this is something that sometimes in League of Legends you think about, oh, whatever the Soul is, sometimes it doesn't matter that much. With the comps, no matter what it is, it's important, but not massively important. But in this game, the difference between the Ocean Soul and the Infernal Soul is massive. I think both teams really want the Ocean here in this case with their top lane matchup.
Well, yes. I mean, Infernal would also be pretty amazing with Tristana and Victor as Life is just going to die. No, Buster Shot goes back and Haymaker Shield going to be enough.
He has Flash, Ghost does, so he has to walk way back. Like, if he flashes and then just gets out.
Oh, Canyon's out of position though. No Blast Cone, has to use his ultimate in order to get out, but yeah, he's pretty fast. When it comes to a running race, I don't know necessarily who's going to win between him and Clid as the late game does come around, but of course Devastating Charge will certainly help you. As there's a lot of devastating things on Damwon Kia's side, which is quite frustrating. It's Clid. Now looking for Canyon once again, and once again we do get illustration of just how fast the horsey is.
Yeah, the ability for Ghost there to actually follow through and potentially kill Life was... That threat is so important because he has that flash there that they Gen.G really have to respect it. They do collapse onto Canyon, but because Canyon is so escapable, like the end result is he gets another turret plate. Like these are the really big wins that Damwon Kia are getting on the map right now around the bottom side.
Can't actually... Wow. Looking for the Cho'Gath here, wanting to get a bit of damage down. The Ood is in the area, so I don't know whether this wet noodle fight that's going to last for a very long time is actually going to work out for Khan as Clid gets into position.
He just hits these every time, man. Khan does, these knockups.
Yeah.
It's actually insane. Because he knows exactly when his lane opponent is going to try to hit those last hits, and he's always ready. Like, do you want money, or do you want to get knocked off? Like, you got to make your choice.
And also, I mean, the Feral Scream is actually, like, really, really good at stopping that, but, you know, I think that the Devastating Smash, the Q's on a little bit of shorter cooldown, so it's harder to reliably interrupt. That being said, still going to be a mind game, right? It's like, do I press the button before he can press the button? All that sort of stuff. Thankfully, it's one of the better abilities, is the Feral Scream, just because it's so instant. Certainly harder for you to react, so it is more about that mind game.
This is actually, there's no vision here for Gen.G. I think they're realizing this is happening, but it might be just a little bit too late, the rotation here, to prevent it.
Yep, not going to be taken there as Clid's going to have to run away now as the Magnet Storm comes forward. Devastating Charge good onto Life as he does try to taxi his way out with his ultimate, but the Onslaught of Shadows is going to be there. Ruler utilizing his ultimate very, very defensively, but does so beautifully as well, as there's the flash forward, and Ruler will survive in the end. Now Khan looking to try and get Rascal out of here. Damwon Kia, they lose Beryl, but they secure themselves the Dragon, and somehow Gen.G limp away with all of their players intact.
And this is, again, it's the Ocean Soul, so very important for both teams here. I think the player who wishes the most that it was Infernal is definitely going to be Showmaker in this case on the Victor.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But it ends up being a Drake that if Gen.G had gotten this, they have that soul point pressure so early on because these were fairly early taken Drakes, and that's something that as Damwon you don't necessarily want to have happen, but they actually saw that there was a lapse in vision here for Gen.G, controlled it because they had this control ward here, had a sweep through the river, and they were able to just get away with this. And sure, they do overextend a little bit here, and Barrel does get taken out for it, but this is definitely worth it for Damwon to actually take this fight. Life gets away with this, which is actually insane.
Oh,
like, it's so well played.
Ghost once again getting trolled by his own Buster Shot, as the flash Q was not enough to kill Ruler.
But you know, this is a really important moment in this game for Damwon. They really needed to take that Drake away, because otherwise the tempo is just too quick for Gen.G having all those advantages with the vision control they've shown us with this Udyr pick. Speaking of which, like there was one moment where they had vision control and they took that opportunity. Great macro play from Damwon. Showmaker is getting away with this for free too over on the side lane. Pick your poison, Gen.G. You're going to deal with the Victor on the side, or you're going to contest this Rift Herald. You have to choose, and you have to choose quick.
Well, the Rift Herald has actually been completely forgotten, as like you were talking about, the Victor just going to get some free minions to go into the Void. It's just going to take a little while for Rascal to get there, but I think he'll only miss out on 1 or 2.
But he
now
goes.
Damwon can move towards this Herald pretty comfortably.
Tug of war game Damwon playing. This is something they're so good at, macro-wise.
Yeah.
Someone has to deal with the Victor, so you know Rascal goes back, and then you can't contest the Herald at the same time because Damwon have better positioning there. So yeah, I mean, you don't win in either exchange here, unfortunately, for Gen.G, and you're even gonna probably lose this turret.
Yeah, this is gonna go down very, very quickly. Like you were talking about, it is Tristana. I would have, if I was him, probably just Buster Shot and cleared away and then taken the turret. But it's gonna go down anyway. That's why Ghost is the pro and I'm not. That calculation was hella good, as you can see, emoting just to prove that he did calculate it.
The minion was dead, but the shot flies through. And
yeah, exactly.
What a god.
Good old posthumous minion destruction of turrets. Love it.
There you go. This game really felt like Gen.G had a commanding control over it, but it's starting to really feel like Damwon have wrestled it back through just a few really nice decisions made on the map. And once again, with this mid turret down now, you have a lot more freedom as Ghost to free farm in mid. You pull resources there, then the side lanes become a problem.
Yeah. And also, like, Ghost is just in such a great position to just move towards the late game, get more levels, get more range, get more damage. Phantom Dancer will be completed pretty soon before he heads towards that Infinity Edge. And we've got a lot of chem tanks here on the side of Damwon. And you can see exactly who wants to be instigating these fights, right?
Yeah.
Barrel's already done a great job. I think Canyon's been picking his fights quite nicely as well, despite that bottom lane loss. And Khan's on his Scion, right? Of course, he's a bit of a Scion one-trick these days.
Yeah, and I don't
understand why.
For sure. I mean, he's
no.
the reason why it's got such a high win rate here in Korea. It feels bad, man.
Yep, sometimes the cannons just don't get claimed.
I wonder if I want to like take back what I said earlier, almost with how this game is going right now so far, and say that I think that Showmaker and Ghost probably wish it was Infernal at this point.
I mean, everyone wishes it's Infernal, right?
Well, I mean, the fans especially at home, right? But I think Khan has a lot more agency to be aggressive, especially with his chem tank, if it is the Ocean as it is, you know, if he gets it. But looking at how this game is going and how free Ghost and Showmaker seem to be able to do damage, I think probably, I take it back, I think Infernal would have been even better for Damwon. Either way, neither here nor there.
I mean, I think every Drake is good outside of a Cloud, so I think it's
especially you would say that.
It's fine, yeah. And I just want to reiterate the fact that there has been no Cloud Souls today, so I've been a good boy.
Don't jinx it.
Well, I mean,
still potentially got 4 games left, Max.
If we get a Cloud Soul in the next game, though, then it's statistically much more acceptable.
True.
Okay, so I feel like I'm already over the line. As Khan lying in wait, actually, I believe he snuck into this brush.
Clid knows he's here, so
yeah, now he does absolutely.
He is just
scatter the weak. Away. Bit of value. Sitting on a lot of available flashes and a lot of available ultimates as Barrel. Not with a lot of available health.
This is where Victor is going to get so much value, Atlas, in these fights. He's just going to keep pressing out Death Ray.
In goes the onslaught of Shadows as well as they want to take down the front line versus Beryl. Gets in towards the backside. BDD getting cancelled completely. And it's a double kill for Showmaker to start this one off. Khan now trying to deal with Ruler and Clear. Does have to flash to get himself out of the way as Rascal limps his way towards the backline once again. And Ruler still at full health. Still scary with some low health members of Damwon Kia, but they do eradicate 2 for the price of nothing. And Shirley is going to get work done in that mid lane while Damwon Kia look to try and secure position on this one. As Khan looking to get that knock up onto Ruler. He sidesteps it quite nicely as now Beryl. He's in trouble. Might actually have to trade his life here, but no, Aftershock is going to be procced. And he will keep himself up as, oh my goodness, thanks to the blue buff, I guess.
Here comes
as
Rascal.
Teleports into the backline, does manage to take down the Rel, but he's traded himself. Void Monster for Horse, Clothes Lady. Not exactly the greatest as BDD turns up as well. Ruler looks to lock down the Tristana, does help BDD do so, as Khan wanting to put himself in amongst this one, and they take down Showmaker as well. The damage has been removed, and Clit survives the last Dragon auto attack. Khan limping away, and Gen.G steal the fight.
What a fantastic fight for Gen.G. They were so extremely patient. Rascal was walking down, but you could tell when he left, he got away with that recall too. They could have actually prevented that, and this would have been a completely different fight. He gets away with a risky recall, then walks towards the fight knowing that there's a potential that he would teleport in and get that flank. And when Khan actually overextends outside, yeah, sure, he does end up getting traded for the Rel, but at the same time, Khan eventually becomes way out of position. This is the start of the fight, which looked fantastic for Gen.G. And then you see as Khan is kind of over here zoning, and Khan was in the perfect position at the beginning of this fight. Clid could not move him, but Rascal, it does come back in the fight. We're going to probably roll this forward here because we're going to, you know.
Yeah, this is a lot of dancing around and dancing around and dancing around.
And then Rascal comes back in here, and Khan is so far away that it's just really easy for Ruler to do massive amounts of damage. So you can see on the bottom side of this, the teleport comes through, and Khan is just nowhere near where he needs to be, unfortunately, in this fight. It's a trade, and the Ruler is just untouched. Like, Khan can't get in here, and then BDD is able to come from behind. Like,
BDD.
Ruler can't, like, Khan can't deal with both Ruler and BDD when they're on opposite sides of the fight like this, and everyone's health bars are too low. There's no way to shut down these damage dealers for Gen.G.
And Clit is just, like, able to skirt around with about 200 health this entire time, being the most frustrating boopist that I have ever seen. Just knocking people on the noggin to line up all of this damage from the likes of BDD and Ruler.
Speaking of which, he's like, hello.
Yep. As, look, this game, still slight advantage for Damwon Kia. They still have a comp that is going to be very happy scaling, but if Ruler keeps playing like this, and if BDD is there to keep stealing his kills, Ruler is going to get more and more angry and more dangerous.
It's crazy how they pulled Damwon Kia apart in that last fight, though. I really liked Rascal's patience and the teleport he used there. Was it bought, even though he died in that trade for the Rel, he bought enough time for BDD to get into position to split the team in half.
Yeah.
And Damwon Kia got so low, and they couldn't really retreat or reposition because Kid was constantly bear slapping people. And it was just, it was a beautiful thing. Like, this is Gen.G really understanding their composition very, very well.
And also playing it to their maximum potential when they need to as well, right? Like, I think that, you know, Syndra, phenomenal in the mid game. Rascal actually peaks a little bit before what Sion does as well. Just because, you know, Cho'Gath can become that big beefy monster that can help line up a lot of this CC that Gen.G can use to try and grab these opportunistic picks. And I think that Clit has been playing this Udyr about as well as you can. As I cast a curse him into oblivion, Showmaker comes on over, but he's running real quick. Showmaker eventually grabs it with a Chaos Storm of all things.
He almost got out of there too.
Yeah.
This is why I play Udyr, man. Even if I make a bad choice, I get away with it anyways.
Didn't press Chem Tank though. You know, potential missed.
Hey, that's on a long cooldown, all right? That's longer than his death timer, so if he messes that up, I could forgive him. I don't know if that gets him out, but it would have been close.
Yeah. I think at this stage, like, he was almost out anyway without even having to use it, so not bad, but still, a caster curse is a caster curse, so I owe everybody an apology, especially the Gen.G fans.
Well, I mean, look at the map right now. Khan is super deep in the side lane, and Gen.G can't deal with it very quickly because they have to make sure that they can have eyes on the Baron after this pick of Clid. So we're going to watch this again, as Clid is just very greedy with his ward clears here. Goes in, wants to clear the Baron ward. Like, this is what Udyr does. This is the power of Udyr in the late game, actually. It's not team fights necessarily, but it's really usually just that ability to clear vision so safely. But he is punished for it hard this time. And, you know, that means that Khan gets a little bit of extra free side laning done.
Yep.
And they still hold vision control, Damwon Kia do.
They do, and also Ghost is being able to get a lot of priority farm here in this mid lane. He's surged ahead in that farm that was being equalized quite nicely. You saw a little bit of a dip there as they lose the team fight, but it looks like Damwon Kia have been able to reorder their finances quite effectively. They fired their accountant, I think it was Clid. He got Chaos Stormed out of there.
Uh-oh, this is a really nice setup potentially for Rascal here. Look at this massive wave coming through. They're not going to commit. They got to teleport, and they're happy with that.
Yep. And I feel like this is so similar to the last situation, but the shoes are on the other foot, right? It's like, how do we get to Ghost? Especially once these levels really start to stack up. And we'll see whether Clid can actually get towards that backline, whether... Oh, okay, Canyon looking to decide it for himself as BDD has to flash to get out of the fight, but it's just front to back, and it's beautiful for Damwon Kia in an instant. Gen.G are obliterated, and Ruler, yeah, supercharges to try and stay invisible, but that's the ace, and wait, this just could be the game.
It could be the game, and Canyon does it again. Game number 1, he was able to make it happen once when they were super behind. This time they're ahead enough that they are confident that Khan can tank these. Minions show up, and that is going to be the game. We're going to a game 3 Atlas.
I love that we were talking about backline access, and I'm like, Gen.G, they have no way to get into the backline. And then Canyon's like, but guess what I do? Just canters his way in there.